I'm an independent woman. I don't need a man. Let's unpack that. So, today, being an independent woman is a bad word. Reason being, lots of negative impact has actually happened with the whole independent woman narrative that actually has done women a disservice. First, let's look at kind of where this came from. And I know a lot of men will say women aren't built like our grandmas and all of this stuff. But it was our grandmothers who told us to do this, by the way, just in case you didn't know. My grandmother definitely told me, make sure you know how to do all of these range of things so you don't need a man. My grandmother would make me stand outside while the guy was fixing her car. So I'd learn how to do alternators, brakes, change oil, and I do know how to do all of these things. She'd go to the hardware store and get like the little manuals to do stuff, and had me building cabinets and knowing plumbing, all of this. So, for a little bit of time in my work history, I used to build things at Home Depot because I had the experience. And she literally told me to do these things because she said she wanted me to never need a man. And she was married, she had, she stayed married to my grandfather till the day she died, even though, him and her were together, at that point. But, men give women flack for the whole independent woman trope based on their grandparents and moms, not realizing that this generation of women were socialized by these women to not need men. Now, what has happened in this process? Knowing how to do these things that women had typically called men to do isn't the same thing as not needing a man. It's more along the lines of, let me show you how to do these things so you can at least be self-sufficient. But it wasn't given to us that way. It was the lesson wasn't given to us from a realm of self-sufficiency so much as it was given to us from the realm of be independent. So you have a generation of women who were told to be independent. We were told to go to school and get an education, make our own money so you don't need men. So basically what happened, we had a generation of women previous, boomers and prior, who had been so dependent on men. You got to remember, women couldn't even get a credit card in their own name till the 70s. And I think it was in the 80s that you could buy you get your own bank accounts and things of that nature. It's been very recent, to be honest. So they course corrected to the point that it became a detriment to women today. So for instance, for me, I know how to do all of those household things, so I don't really need to call a man to do them. I make very good money. I have my educational status is above most men. But I would never, ever come out of my mouth and say I don't need a man. I do. There are certain things about a woman that still require a man. Now, what needs to happen, since you have this entire generation and future that have been socialized in this independent mindset, number one, we have to change the mindset. The mindset isn't independence. The mindset is adult. These are things adults do. Adults pay bills. Adults fix things in their house. Adults go to school and get education for their careers. These are things adults do, not I'm an independent woman. So that has to change. The whole boss woman narrative, it just simply has to change, because the boss woman narrative has led to bossy women. And again, and I've said this in a previous video, in doing so, we have lost our femininity in that process. So a lot of the safety we're looking for from our male counterparts is not there, because there's like, oh, you big dog, you got it. No, I don't. I still need help. But what men may have to adjust to is the help looks different. What does that mean? You may not need to help a woman with her bills. You may not have to help her with plumbing. But you may, for me, I appreciate a man reminding me that I'm a woman. And this is the care that typically comes from a man when he loves a woman. Again, I said this in a previous video too. Men like going on quests for women. Hey, can you do this thing for me? Hey, can you do that for me? Kind of thing. And it's not so much the man is serving me so much as that's his love language is an act of service. And a woman who typically has a lot of those things figured out, those acts of service, excuse me, are so much more important than paying a light bill. So it's not, well, she doesn't need me because all of her bills are paid. But at the same time, you're also upset that women look at you for money. So those types of narratives have to go in order for us to be more sufficient as couples. And again, none of this is based on any LGBTQ, anything transgender. We're just talking your typical heterosexual couples here. I'm not an expert in LGBTQ issues, so I'm not going to discuss that. But in a typical, heterosexual couple situation, it's really for the couple to figure out what works best for them in current day. And it's simply not going to be I need her to have less than me so she'll need me. It's just not going to be that. Also, and I've had a video on this as well, feel free to check out my channel, hypergamy is just not going to work. We're just not there as a society anymore. Does that mean, relationships have to change dynamics where now the woman is the head of the household? Absolutely not. Because some gender dynamics are still just going to dictate that the masculine and feminine kind of energy, that's still going to remain. That just means some of the social cues that we want to use to determine this have to adjust to make up for that. So women have to get rid of the independent woman mindset. You're not, you're just an adult, and that's okay. And men will have to transform their mindset of wanting a woman to have less than them. So she needs him, for these social pieces. There are other social pieces that women need men for, and vice versa. So we just got to figure that out. And I'm going to do more videos about how we do that. This is a solutions-driven podcast. I will never provide information just to complain. We're all about figuring out how to fix it. Thanks.